I don't understand why narcissists always get to win. Like, why am I the person that's here, that's broken, that's unhealthy, that can't figure out life, that's crying on the floor, and they're out there living their best life? Why can't I win? Do you ever feel like that? Do you feel like it isn't fair of what they get to experience, what they get to do? And a lot of times people get really frustrated because it feels like they can't win at the narcissist game. And time again, people get frustrated and pissed off and annoyed at them not getting their karma or what's due to them or anything like that. And they get so upset because they're like, why am I always the one that loses in the relationship? Why am I the one that lost? Because they walked out of my life. They left me broken. They left me hurt. And time again, people talk about winning and losing. Winning and losing with a narcissist is quite interesting because you can't really win at the narcissist game. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a narcissist. And I'm on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. People often ask, like, why are you even on here? Like, what's the point? Well, the point for me, one, started off as accountability. Accountability because I don't want to go back to the person that I was. If I go back or if I start to slip, then the person that I was is awful. But I'm working every single day to change, grow, heal, and develop myself into being a new person, into learning how to change my behaviors and learning how to change my actions. And I do this on a day-to-day basis. And what I do, like in my own like privacy of like what I journal, what I do for devotions, what I do for meditation, I do it every week and going to therapy and like working to better myself and to be able to rewire the brain that I have to be able to help other people, tell people not to get with someone like me, to help people not get in a toxic relationship that destroys them, that destroys families, that destroys work environments and relationships and everything. But to be able to have people who can identify, who can understand, and can heal, grow, and change on a day-to-day basis. If you guys don't follow on a couple platforms, please follow, subscribe. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, either on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, anything like that, please like, please subscribe, please leave a review because we're trying to spread awareness. You might have someone today that can resonate with one of these videos that you see. Maybe that's the video we did earlier today. Maybe it's the video coming out tomorrow. Whatever it might be, you have people that can resonate with these. And the more you share, the more you help educate other people to know, hey, I think you might be in this type of relationship. You might be able to provide freedom and help for someone else out there. So we're talking about winning and losing today, right? So what is like winning and losing? Well, people normally hate the idea and the thought of losing to a toxic person, right? I mean, who likes that idea? That's not a comfortable idea. That's not something that we want to sit with or that is enjoyable by any means, okay? But the majority of time when people are thinking of like winning and losing with a narcissist or in a toxic relationship, they're normally thinking along the lines of like justice. Justice of what was done wrong to them, of when do we get justice? When do we actually see that this person is going to pay for the things that they've done to us? And the hard reality is the majority of times when people see narcissistic relationships and they break up or they disappear or they ghost or whatever might happen and they see that person continue on in life, they're like, they don't get any consequences at all. Like, why am I losing and they're winning? Because they're just walking through, not having any empathy, not caring about any people, not worrying about anything that's happening. They're just living their life. And here I am stuck. And here I am not sure how to be able to heal, grow, or change. Number one, if that's you and you feel stuck, then I want to encourage you to get help. Whether that's therapy, getting a therapist, getting a counselor, getting a coach, whether you work with me personally or whether you work with any of the other Narc Avengers or other people out there that are interested in helping you heal, grow, and change, that is the goal. You don't have to stay stuck, but you do have to take the first step and reach out. A lot of times people want to talk about making the narcissist pay, or when are they going to get their karma, or when is this going to happen? Sometimes people go to the same level as the narcissist and they'll stoop down to their level of trying to attack them, trying to smear them in one sense, of blasting them on social media, of saying all this kind of stuff. And the majority of time when that happens, it only makes the survivor look like the crazy person, because the narcissist has already constructed it for everyone else to say, hey, this is what happened. This is the person that was crazy and this is what they did. And so you have to be really, really careful of that, because sometimes people will get in their mind so much to get back at them, or to say, like, I want them to feel my pain. I want them to experience the pain and the frustration that I felt. And sometimes it can end up clouding your vision, and you end up doing things that end up putting you in harm's way. And I speak of this because I've talked to many survivors that have gotten thrown in jail or have gotten arrested because of things that they try to do back to the narcissist, that maybe the narcissist did to them, but the narcissist was already prepared and planned to be able to get control over the situation and to be able to ultimately hurt them. Did you guys ever see or watch, like, the Hunger Games? Did you see how it played out? If you haven't watched it, I'm sorry, but this is my illustration. If you haven't seen it, it plays out where they're fighting, and it's a fight to the death, right? Of how many people are going to get eliminated, and it gets to the last two people, and they're there, and then the idea is you have to, I believe, like, eat the berries or whatever, and one of them is going to die. They have to, like, murder each other, and one of them's going to die. And so they're like, wait a second, if we can't do this, then we're going to go ahead and do it together. We'll eat the berries, we'll die together. What they did at the end of the movie, the trilogy, is they stopped playing the game. Because that's really what it is when you're in a narcissistic relationship. You're pitted against other people. You're triangulated. You're gaslit. You're confused about the situation. And the narcissist wants to get to the end where you're actually broken down and completely devalued. Your worth is gone, and they're ultimately in control, right? And a lot of times people think, hey, if we can beat them at their game, if we can win at what's going on, if we can try to be able to get ahead of it, or to prove something, or to show something, or have the last word, or anything like that, maybe we can beat them at their game. A lot of times people try to do that with proving them wrong, with trying to convince the narcissist, you did this. How many times did you have something where you had blatant proof? Like, I've talked to people, they have proof of, like, you just said this, and they're like, no, that wasn't me. Like, no, you just texted this. No, that wasn't me. Like, you just said this on video. No, that wasn't me. Like, you just cheated. I have pictures of it. That was someone else. That wasn't me. You could have seen narcissists deny stuff over and over and over and over again. How many times did you try to prove something and show something and they actually admitted it? I mentioned earlier, but a lot of times you have people who try to have them hurt the narcissist so that they feel the pain. Narcissists don't feel the pain the same as you. You will never win the game with a narcissist because there's no rules, and you will sacrifice your own morals for your own satisfaction. I'm going to say that again. You'll never win at the game with a narcissist because there's no rules, and you will sacrifice your own morals for your own satisfaction. And you see, the idea of playing the game with the narcissist, where there's winners and losers, applies that you sign up to play the game. It applies that you sign up saying, hey, I'm going to participate in this. Winning is not hurting the other person or stooping to the level. It's not getting mad or besting that other person. It's not proving a point or getting it across, because when you try to fight that game with the narcissist, you're going to fight a losing battle, because the rules are always going to change. And there's not going to be any rules. There'll be rules for you, but there's not going to be any rules for them. So they'll do anything and everything to be able to get the upper hand. Lie, manipulate, cheat, steal, doesn't matter. They'll change up the rules. They'll do anything they can to be the winner. And the thing you have to acknowledge is, in order to win the game that you're playing with the narcissist, you have to stop playing the game. You have to stop playing the game, and you have to focus on you. Your change, your growth, your healing, your development. Winning with a narcissist is ultimately how you show up for you, for your kids, for your family, and not letting another person control you anymore. Because that's what they've done. They've done that for such a long period of time. They put you in their own game of manipulation, of gaslighting, of fog that's around you, and you don't know what's going on. You don't understand. And as a result, you keep going down that path. With triangulation, one of the most popular things is people are like, how do I get out of triangulation? Triangulation is where the narcissist has two people, oftentimes pitted against each other, with the narcissist kind of in the middle. It's the idea of a triangle. The way to get rid of a triangle is you take out one of those points and it's just a line. But most people are like, no, like I want to make sure I tell them this, or I communicate this, or I make sure that they understand. You're not going to make them understand. You're not going to control another person. You're not wired that way. You're not meant to be that way. That's not your calling. You're not called to be a narcissist. You're not meant to be a narcissist, okay? Because that's what they're doing. They're doing the same thing. They're trying to control another person. So at the end of the day, I want you to think through that winning with a narcissist is not playing their game. It's stepping away from it and saying, hey, how am I going to show up today for myself, for my kids, for my family, for my new relationships, for my coworkers? How am I going to show up for other people? Because guaranteed, you've been in a relationship for so long, you no longer know how to show up for yourself. In order to win at the game of narcissism, you have to take yourself out of the game that they're playing, and you have to focus on growing you and no longer letting that person in your life control you ever again.